Hey guys, Chris from Provo Beast Audio Installation, and in today's video we're replacing the rear door speakers on this 2022 Hyundai Kona. Now in this install we're going to show you how to remove the door panel and speaker. We'll head to the bench, show you the parts that we're using for the install, connect the speaker, bracket and harness adapter, and we'll come back here to get everything installed. Let's get started. Now, before we jump into things, a couple things to note. We don't have a factory amplifier in this, and if we did, we'll make notes. If you do have the factory amp, what type of speaker is compatible with that amp? Being that we have the base audio sound system, we can really add whatever aftermarket 6.5-inch speaker we choose. Now, we don't have a separate tweeter, it's just a coaxial, so it's a pretty simple swap. First thing we need to do is get this door panel off. It's actually just held in with one single screw, and the rest is held in with clips. We have our little sail panel up above, or upper trim panel, however you want to say it. Just held on with a couple of clips here. We're going to be very gentle. Pop that out. 1, 2, 3. Now in the grab handle area here, there is a screw up underneath this little panel, and there's a little place where you can kind of get a flathead screwdriver. You can also use a pick tool. Just be very careful. Open it up there. What that's going to expose is a Phillips screw. Now that's the only screw in the door. Everything else is held in with clips. It hangs across the top here. So we'll unclip it from the bottom and then lift the door panel off the door itself. Now it's a really tight panel. There's really no place up and around here to get fingers in except by this right hand edge. You can kind of start getting your fingers up underneath the panel. Now I have one of these tools. You also can use vinyl panel tools too. This helps separate the clips a little easier. Okay, with this up and movable here, or they kind of lift up. Now on the back of the panel we have a couple of things connected. We have your harness, which simply just unclips. Now you have your handle assembly here. You could take this all apart to remove the cables, or it's just easy to pop out the 4 Phillips screws holding in the handle assembly. Then you don't risk damaging the cables attached to the handle itself. Now our speaker is held with 4 Phillips screws. They're a little bit different than the other screws we pulled out, so keep them separate. There's our speaker. Now with our speaker, it's also going to have a harness, disconnect your harness, and it's attached, the harness is attached to the speaker. I get some needle nose pliers, compress the little tabs, and go ahead and work that on out. There is our factory speaker at this point in time. Let's head to the bench, show you the parts that we're going to need for the install. Alright, so here at the bench now, the parts that we're using in today's install, first and foremost, are the coaxials that we're installing. It's the Alpine Type S, S-S65. Now, these are great factory replacements. They also can handle a ton more power because they're rated up to 80 watts RMS. They are a 4 ohm speaker. It's a coaxial, so the tweeter is mounted within the mid-range driver. Now, to install this in the door, we do need some bracket and harness adapters. The bracket adapter is the Pack Audio HK-SB110 for Hyundai vehicles, Hyundai and Kia. And the harness adapter specific to this car, the Metris 72-7302. Now everything comes in pairs. We've already done the passenger side, so we're doing the driver's side, but you'll get 2 speakers, 2 brackets, and 2 harness adapters. Your bracket adapter looks like this. Fits the similar shape as the factory speaker. Will bolt up in those same OEM locations. Now, for the most part, it's actually a very simple swap. However, our speaker harness adapters, this end plugs into the actual harness in the car, and this one plugs into the speaker. Unfortunately, our harnesses are on the outside of the door panel, where our terminals for the aftermarket speaker are on the inside of the door panel. So what we like to do is we just grab some speaker wire here and lengthen this speaker wire to allow us the opportunity to still plug this in, run this through a hole in the inner door skin panel, and this will allow us to connect it without pinching the wire back behind the bracket. This will make a little more sense here in a moment. So the first thing we're going to do is grab our speaker and our bracket adapter. Let's go ahead and get everything mounted up. Now you'll notice our screws are really long that are included with our Alpine speaker. These will hit the door panel and won't allow the speaker to sit flush. So alternatively, you can get coarse thread, shorter screws that fit this depth, or you get some heavy duty flush cuts here and you can just cut them shorter and that'll solve the issue. These screws are pretty soft, so they cut pretty well. Now our terminals are here on the back of the speaker as mentioned before. Our harness adapter on the factory is on the outer side by the front of the speaker, and there's no holes around the speaker itself to pass the wires through. So we can make them a little longer here, and essentially here what that's going to do is allow us to extend these terminals, go through a hole in the door panel that's further away from the speaker, and it can still plug into those factory harness plugs. Our speaker is now all prepped. We have a nice longer harness. We soldered everything up here. Got our speaker all assembled where everything's ready to go. At this point in time, let's head back to the car to get it installed. Now, as mentioned before, there's no hole right next to it. So the alternative is you have this space here. There is a U. You could trim the bracket here and fit it up underneath so it doesn't, damage the wire itself. You can feed it through here and go through your weather seal, vapor barrier that Hyundai does. So a couple of options there. We're going to go ahead and feed our wire right up through here. Go ahead and mount up our speaker using the same 4 black screws that we pulled out before. Okay, and our harness will simply plug right into the adapter. Just like so. So it's at this point in time, it's a good idea to test it. Make sure it's working before you reassemble the door panel. But once you confirm everything's operational, we basically reassemble the door panel in reverse order. So we confirmed everything is working properly with the speaker. At this point of time, let's go ahead and reassemble the door panel here. Now before I hook up my harness, I'm going to go ahead and put this back in. We're going to snap it into place. You'll feel it kind of fall right into its desired location, and we're going to put the 4 silver screws right back into their various spots. Don't forget to hook up your harnesses, hang the door panel, and once it lines up, you'll be able to snap it back into place. That's about it for this door speaker install. Now, if you have any questions on what we did here, go ahead and post a comment below. If you like any of the parts that we used in the description, we can link those parts, brackets, harness adapters, and recommended speakers in the description at your convenience. Additionally, if you want to see how we did the front doors, both the mid-range speaker and the tweeter, along with the 5-channel amplifier and subwoofer to the factory radio on this Hyundai, link those in the description as well. Be sure to hit the like button if you liked what you saw, and don't forget to subscribe. We post great content on the channel all the time, and we'll see you in the next video.